Hi, I'm Niall. For those of you which do not know me, let me introduce me. I'm born 1984 in Germany, and I do live in Germany most of the time. And I'm one of the living humans who's able to communicate with ghosts, how the most people would call it, or to be more specific, with creatures which have lived as human beings before, which have lived as animals before, or as plants before, which have them lost their biological body. And I'm in the situation that I can communicate with such creatures since 10 years, around about 10 years. And I do inform about universal communication, how I call it. And I produced over 100 different documentations where it was documented when creatures, so ghosts, were communicating with me in a way that it could get filmed. So, for example, when they influenced the natural environment in a way that it could get filmed, and that I could bring proof that I communicate with ghosts. So I want to speak a little bit about my lifetime experience regarding the last 10 years where I'm connected to the universe in a way that I can communicate with ghosts, or to be more specific, with creatures which had a biological body once and then lost it. So I came into the situation that the first creature started to connect with my biological body in a way that I could see it, feel it, and that I could communicate with them around about 10 years ago, maybe 9 years ago. And everything happened after my mom died. So my biological mother, she died, her body died, to be more specific, and then I was grieving a lot, and I wanted to communicate with her again because I was sure that she do still exist. Quite sure, not 100%, but quite sure that she do still exist. So I came into a lifetime period where I was giving myself up, and where I was preparing myself to die, because I didn't want to live anymore. But then it happened that creatures did connect in symbiosis with my biological human body, and did start to communicate with me, including my mom. So since then I'm able to communicate with my ancestors, my mom, my grandmothers, my granddad who's already dead, my German granddad who's already dead, and my uncle who's already dead, and other creatures which I did not know before, which have lived as humans before. Some of them have lived as animals before, some of them have lived as plants before, and some creatures I'm able to communicate with never were born in a biological body, so they never had their own biological body as humans would see it, but they're able to travel into human bodies, to connect in symbiosis with the biological human body, and to influence the biological human body. So what do I mean when I say they can influence human bodies? They can do a lot of stuff, so it's getting a little bit complex right now. They can create thoughts, so with that communication is possible also. They can create feelings the human then have to feel, and they can create suffering by causing pain. So they can connect to the human brain and can give the human brain orders. And depending on the situation, they can control human bodies, like the movement of an arm, for example, or depending on the situation, they're even capable of overtaking a human body. What I mean with that is that the creature which was born in the human body and which sees himself or herself as a human loses then the control over their own human body, and these other creatures which travel into the human body and which are connected to the human body overtake the control of the human body, sometimes in a way that the creature which was born as the human can see it, can feel it, have to suffer it. Sometimes in a way that they kill the creature which have lived as a human before, so the creature which was born as a human. They kill the creature so that the creature have no consciousness anymore. Then they overtake the body in the same moment do something with the human body, and later on they can bring the creature which they have killed before back to life. So it's a little bit unbelievable if you have no experience in that area, in that field, but that's the truth. So these creatures are capable of a lot of stuff, and they can use many complex methods to interact with humans. So as I said, I'm living in a situation since 10 years that I'm not alone in my human body. Other creatures are connected to my human body and live in my human body. Some of them come and go. What I mean with that is they travel into my human body, connect to it, communicate with me, for example, and then they leave my human body again. Other creatures stay for longer periods in my human body and do also communicate with me. The good thing is, if you are connected like that in this universe, you can communicate with your ancestors. You can communicate with the death, how so many people will call it. The bad thing is it can have a lot of negative aspects, and it's very dangerous for a living human. Because not all the creatures in this universe are nice, and you can come into conflicts with such creatures, and because they are capable of doing so much stuff, that can lead to a situation where you do suffer a lot. For example, creatures which are connected to your human brain in a way that they can give your human brain orders. They can create pain, physical pain, by influencing your nerve system. They can create crazy thoughts in your head, or mean thoughts, bad thoughts. And they can create and control your feelings if they want to, which is bad, especially in situations of attacks. So they can make people very depressed, for example. So in the last 10 years, I witnessed a lot. I witnessed a lot of positive stuff, and I witnessed even more negative stuff. It's more negative than positive, is the sad thing. Positive things are, as I said, I can communicate with creatures which have lived as human beings before, or as animals, or as plants before. Some of them are nice, so them it's good. It's positive because it's interesting. You get to know other creatures. You collect a lot of experience and stuff like that. And knowledge transfer is possible. So these creatures can transfer you and give you informations. You can, that sounds a little bit crazy, but the truth is you can have sex with such creatures, which is positive because the most people like sex. What I mean with that is, if creatures like that, for example, a female creature which have lived as a female before, is connected to my biological human body, to my brain and to my nerve system and all that, these creatures are also they also in the situation that they can influence the human body in that way that they influence the chemicals you have in your human brain. So it's possible that they create an orgasm for you, for example. So there are a lot of positive things. They can organize positive feelings, that you feel being filled up with love, for example, or that you feel very positive. But the other side is, and that's sadly a big part of my life, are the negative factors. And the negative factors is that they can create pain, physical pain. They can create bad thoughts. They can create negative, bad feelings. And because they can connect in symbiosis with biological bodies, it's important to understand that they can do that also with animal bodies or with other human bodies. So in situations where you get attacked, for example, it can happen that you get attacked inside your own human body, that pain is created, so that you suffer a lot from pain, and the pain can be on a very, very high level, so that it's like torture. It's nothing less than torture. Um, but you can come also into situations where they influence other human bodies, which them attack you, or which them being very negative towards you, or that they use animal bodies to attack you. That they influence the body of a dog, for example, and attack you. That did happen to me once. Or that they attack you with a swarm of wasps. That did happen to me in the past. And so you have a collection of very bad experience after 10 years witnessing that stuff. For those people which do not know me, I do, like I said, I do produce documentations about these topics. So in the past it was filmed when I got attacked a couple of times. And maybe if you do deep research in the internet, maybe you can find these videos where I get, for example, attacked with the wasp swarm. It's even possible that there are some of the videos deep down in my Facebook page, but I mean, you have to go back a few years. So you have to scroll down the whole time before you find these videos. I also got attacked with weather. So these creatures cannot only influence biological bodies as we humans see it. No, they can influence the whole natural environment. They can influence the biosymbiose, if you want it like that. And I got attacked with weather a couple of times. One time was filmed where I got attacked with a storm. So I was in conflict with one creature. The creature was communicating with me by sending wind to a specific plant, which is a method which I filmed very, very often, and which is a method to communicate with me. One of the methods they can use. And it's a good method because it can get filmed, so I can document it. That's why we use that method quite a lot when we were producing documentations. You can find the video of the attack when you search at YouTube for "Hi King Niall Gets Attacked." There you find one video if you do research where you see me in a communication with a creature, or a ghost, how the most people would say it. And then we were going against each other, and then this creature started to attack me. There was a conflict going on, and I had a reason to be mean to that creature. And that creature behaved very, very fucked up towards me. Let me say it like that. So, and in the video you can see how the weather changes. So it's very normal at the beginning, and then you can see how the conflict between me and the creature is going on, and then you can see how the weather changes and how a hailstorm comes up, how big wind waves come up, how rain comes up, and how a storm take place. At that storm, a lot of glass was shattered, so there was a tower close to the area where I was filming that documentation, and the glass windows did break in the tower. Cars were demolished, and even big trees, like the trees you can see behind me, and even bigger ones than that, they were just fallen out of the ground because of the storm level. So I have the experience that I got attacked with humans, with animals, and with weather, and in my own biological human body when they cause pain or negative thoughts or negative feelings. And important to understand, sometimes there are reasons for conflicts. So sometimes you have a conflict which is based on a reason or so, but most of the attacks, I would say 70 to 80% maybe of the attacks, have no reason. And that's very mean, that's very bad. But the truth is, in this universe are a lot of creatures which are not very nice. Some of the creatures are very nice, very polite, and others are not. And people like me deal with all kinds of creatures. The good ones and the ones which behave very bad. Let me say it like that. So, typical reasons for attacks can be, for example, I give you an example. I often got attacked when I was eating meat from creatures which have lived as animals before and which then suffered from the meat industry and which then died in the meat industry because they lived on such industrial farms under bad conditions. So I got often attacked when I was eating meat. But you can also get attacked when you eat a plant, because plants are biological bodies of creatures as well. So there's no difference between an animal or a plant regarding the question if you can get attacked from them. Most of the time I get attacked by the method that the creatures communicate with me that they attack me, and then they create pain in my biological body, so that I suffer just from pain, heavy pain. Yeah, it's heavy pain. It can be the shoulder, it can be the stomach, it can be the head, it can be the back, it can be the balls, it can be the legs, it can be the foot, it can be everything. Depends on the situation. And I also got quite often attacked with animals. I would say that in the last 10 years, minimum got attacked 100 times with animals, minimum, if not much more often. I got attacked with weather, and what's important to understand is that living humans which are getting attacked from such creatures which have such power, which have just such capabilities and stuff, living humans cannot protect themselves. I often see I'm a member of many paranormal groups and ghost hunting groups and stuff like that on Facebook, and I often read comments that people could protect themselves by different methods. And the truth is that humans cannot protect themselves. None of the methods do really help in case of a real attack. If the attacker doesn't want to stop the attack, you as a human have no chance to protect yourself. No chance. So that's very important to understand, because some people do research in the internet and then they find thousands of tips how you would be able to protect yourself from demons or bad spirits or bad ghosts, and you're not able to protect yourself. That's my message. If you are interested in more information about that topic in general, please check out my website, ciembassy.com. I'm gonna put the link to the video, and I maybe gonna put also a link to the video of an attack, so that you can get an idea of how an attack looks like. And please, the conflict where the attack was filmed is a private conflict. Please do not get too deep into that. It's none of your business, but you can see the attack and understand that attacks like that are possible with the other video as well. Thank you for watching. Your Niall. Peace.